Uh.
Hi, I'm Brandon Peachin, the owner of Mountain Lacrosse Network and host of Sideline Sessions. Our guest this week is Gannon Matthews. Do us a favor, like and subscribe, share this with your friends, and we'll keep these shows coming. Thanks for watching. Okay, Gannon Matthews, welcome to Sideline Sessions. Thanks for being here, and you're like the hottest guest that was requested on the Instagram page. So
I appreciate that.
no pressure or anything. And I'm excited to get to know you more. I've been around a few years. Saw you play back in high school for a couple, and then, of course, the Idaho kid making it big across the country and into the PLL. How could we not follow you? And I'm just excited to learn more about the person off the field as well as in your experiences. So,
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on. It's been quite a wild ride. Last year has been, a lot of changes. But happy to be here. Happy to be back in Boise.
that's great. Let's talk about being the Idaho kid. So I noticed on your helmet, you keep a 208 on there. You've had that your whole career.
Yeah, I think that was something I did early on in Cleveland. Um, I've always, when you go to the East Coast,
Mhm.
Midwest, whatever you want to call it, being from Idaho is always, the hot topic.
Where's that at?
Yeah, exactly.
Not-
Iowa.
yeah.
I've never heard of that,
How long
but
did it take to drive there? That's
never did it.
that's what those are like the
Yeah,
comments that
yeah,
we always got.
never did it. My
Yeah,
mom did it. Um, I was hopping on flights though, so
yeah,
thank you to
that's fair.
thank you to the parents for
Yeah.
that. But
So let's talk about early days. What was life for Gannon here in Eagle, Idaho, growing up,
yeah,
and the lacrosse around that?
yeah. I mean, I did a whole lot of different things. My parents were
Mhm.
really open and wanted me to try everything. Started playing lacrosse in fifth grade when me and a buddy, quit baseball. Classic journey.
Yep,
But yeah, I did it all. Snowboarding. My first love in sports was skateboarding. Eagle Skate Park was a big
sweet.
skater. Um, Started a rock band pretty early on through elementary school, middle school. Played guitar and was the lead singer. Yeah, I mean, played most, every sport, and then kind of stuck with lacrosse and football through high school.
Okay, is there a Spotify account with this band?
There is not, no. It was
You got any demo tapes?
we got a physical album that
Oh,
I know my dad has a copy of, but
alright.
that's probably not getting released to the masses.
Okay,
Somebody did a deep dive, they could probably find songs, but
okay, that's great. So, middle school, high school. Let's talk about that. Those early days of playing and what that was like for you.
yeah.
What was the environment like? What kind of teams were around? Kind of.
Yeah. I would say my earliest memory of that was kind of in middle school when we first started. It was that fifth, sixth grade year. Remember there was, enough players that there was two Eagle teams in TVYL. There was a team of
Mhm.
that was everyone that had played before, and then there was a team that were all first year guys, and I was on that team with a couple buddies. And the cool thing about that was we played each other like midway through the season, and our team beat the team that had been playing. And
That's great.
me and that group of guys, that was just that little edge to
Hmm.
kind of keep rolling. But yeah, just had a great group of friends throughout middle school that were around different sports, the football guys, some wrestlers, basketball players, and that was kind of my friend group. So just always around sports and training and motivated to get better.
Yeah. So Eagle High School,
Hmm.
coaches back then. You
Yeah,
remember? Yeah. Let's talk about
yeah. So it was Riley McNeil,
them.
and then Coach Northcutt.
Okay.
Both of those guys, still in touch with them, all the
Awesome.
time. And since being back, I've got to, sit down with both of them and chop it up. So those guys were, always really good to me.
Yeah.
Um, we won a state championship, with
Mhm.
them, and that COVID year we were planning to win too. So great guys, and always bring some positive energy and kept me going
Yeah.
throughout my high school career. So
Would you say those two guys, maybe who else might have been early influences or? help you motivate, get on this path? Or
Yeah, I would say those were two of the main guys on the high school level. And then, in club, we had Coach Colin Davis from
Mhm.
True, who's really good to me, Coach Pollock, and then Logan has been incredible. So really that True family was great to me, and then those guys on the high school side.
Okay, recruiting. Let's talk about your recruiting path.
Yeah,
And you know, it's different for everybody.
definitely.
And then kind of along the way, what is it that once you kind of saw like, hey, this is something that can happen. What did you have to do to really achieve that? And maybe something that from the high school to college level where you made compromises to stay on
Yeah,
that path and
yeah.
achieve.
I think my freshman year, we had a big brother program,
Mhm.
and my big brother was Zane Freet, who was, committed to Fairfield at the time. And, just being a young freshman, kind of naive to the process, I was just, oh, he's my big brother, so I'm the next one to do it. So I think from early on, I had a delusional self-confidence that I would do it,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. And my recruiting path was, maybe different than a lot of guys do, nowadays, where they play for multiple teams, go out to a ton of
Mhm.
events. I played football in the fall, never played lacrosse. I only played lacrosse in the spring and the summer. All I played was True. I did a couple events, like Under Armour All American
Mhm.
tryouts. Didn't even make the team. Maybe two other individual events, but that was really it. I was committed to, getting my shots up and training, but I was not flying all around the country. So, I think it was my junior year, late my junior year, I had one offer, and that was Cleveland State. So, um, when you ask, how did that process go like that, it was pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
There was, a list and my goals that was to play Division One, and you got one offer. It's makes it pretty
Looks like you
simple.
got there.
Yeah.
And then in that high school year and working out, there's at some point you're like, okay, we got to get focused. We got to work out. Did your life change or anything like in that senior to college, like the things that you focused on? Did you have to compromise?
Um, I don't think there was a pivotal moment in
Yeah.
change for me. Um, Early on, my freshman year, I've been, an off the field guy
Hmm.
for 15 years probably at this point. So I was really committed to the training
Okay.
thing. I would say my junior year, senior year, maybe around that time, uh, there was a guy by the name of Jake Taylor that just started working at off the field, and
Okay.
he kind of became my new trainer, and he was the most influential coach in my life.
Okay.
Um, where he was the first coach where I'm a big question asker,
Hmm.
right? Like I'm not someone who is told to do something and then will just obediently do
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Maybe a fault of mine, but I got to know the why.
Hmm.
And he was really good at explaining that and creating buy-in that way. Um, so physically, from my senior year to about my sophomore year of college, my like athletic, potential really shot up.
Okay.
So speed was a big focus, and I grew a little bit, put some size on. So I would say that was, a big thing for me.
That's great. So we show up at Cleveland State, feeling
Hmm.
good, feeling strong,
Yeah.
something to prove.
Hmm.
How was freshman year?
Yeah, I would say at the time I didn't know how bad it was. In retrospect, it
Okay.
was probably one of the worst situations you could have because it comes back to being from Idaho, but it was that post-COVID year. So there was all these sorts of, restrictions based on what state you're coming from. And I was the only state that there was some rate of, contracting the
Yeah.
virus that was so high. So every time I had to go back to Cleveland, I would have an automatic 2-week quarantine. And then I also got like contract traced like by two other people. Never got it. But in my first semester, I was quarantined by myself in a room for a total of like 9 weeks.
Wow.
Um, so it sucked. And then never got, a full team um, practice session. We were all small groups, so I didn't
Hmm.
even know half the team. Um, but definitely, like you said, like something to prove. So I was eager to get back in the spring, and yeah, I mean, I had a good head throughout the whole thing because I just didn't really know what to expect.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we roll in our second year, sophomore year, getting in the classroom,
Hmm.
adjust into that. It's a goofy year, that freshman to sophomore,
Yeah.
just because of your experience. So maybe not as traditional workload or time commitment,
Yeah.
but that changed, right?
Hmm.
Almost immediately, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
rolling into sophomore. So how was that adjustment now that those restrictions are turned off? Now we're
Yeah.
going full bore, 100% committed.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone felt it, when we were able to go again and kind of live our lives.
Hmm.
There was, just a breath of fresh air for everyone. That freshman year to go back for a sec was also they redshirted my whole class. So it was announced
Okay.
that we would be in the ASUN next year. I was ready to go, coming off that fall into the spring. And so that was hard for me when they told me you've got a red shirt. I was like, I'm ready to go.
Hmm.
I feel like I've earned a spot. I'm ready to play. Um, so coming into my sophomore year, not only was, COVID kind of lifted, there was that energy, but I was like, I'm finally going. I just had to wait a whole year. So I had a lot of juice coming into the sophomore year for sure.
Okay. What about in the classroom? How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I kind of go back to Jake Taylor, my mentor at Off the Field. I was studying kinesiology, so
Hmm.
diving into that, was super passionate about it at the time. Kind of diving into that coursework, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was a really passionate student while in my time there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that kinesiology isn't like it's no joke.
no,
Those are tough classes, and then especially for a student athlete at a
yeah,
Division I level, that you have extra labs where business guys don't.
hmm,
You have extra time commitments that a lot of guys don't,
yeah,
and to stay focused on those kind of things. It's just different for a science degree or an engineering
yeah,
degree. So
definitely. I mean, maybe some extra stuff there, but I
sure.
got teammates doing pre-med and pre-law,
Okay.
so I was able to frame it,
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle. And I've always been, someone passionate about school as well.
Okay.
So I think that, wasn't too much of a challenge for me to stay committed, and I was very interested in it. So um, yeah, it was pretty smooth sailing on
Well,
the academic
well,
side.
with that on the academic side, how much did high school grades play into making this Division I dream happen? Like scholarships and academic money.
Yeah,
Not that we have to get into like
yeah,
the exact numbers by any means,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I'd say it definitely opened the door for me in getting some money there. I had, good grades throughout high school.
mhm,
Um, and so I remember, when I was lower on the list, I was a late add to that roster, but getting being in that top level of the academic money definitely helps
mhm,
because then the coaching staff looks at you and it's like, well, you're getting half the money here. We can only,
right.
stipend a little bit, and now you're at, a pretty big scholarship. So I know definitely in their eyes it was a good thing and
Yeah,
and helped out
you
for
get to
sure.
free up their athletic money by using this
Exactly.
other pot of money,
Yeah.
and that's I don't think a lot of folks focus on like how much those grades can create opportunities, not just
Yeah.
for lowering the cost, but how they can select you based upon finances for the
Yeah.
most part, even, like,
Exactly.
there's 10 guys on that list
Yeah.
and they can afford you through a whole nother pot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're moving
And
up quick.
if they got two guys that are, they're looking at for the same role, and there's one guy
Mhm.
that they can get for, you talk about NIL and stuff right now,
Sure.
academic money is really the same thing if they can, get half of it somewhere else. So
Hmm.
um, I
Yeah.
think it's really important.
So life at Cleveland State,
Hmm.
it's a urban college, right? It's like in
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
It's got a non-traditional campus.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it was right in the heart
Mhm.
of downtown, big commuter school. So on the weekends, it was kind of, just the athletes there or
Mhm.
people that lived on campus, which was a small number, but it was my first time being away from home, so I was pretty into it. There was a lot of live music that's been a staple in my family for a long time, so that was cool, and just exploring a new place, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, Cleveland is cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
um, what about free time, hanging out with the guys? You know, what was the student athlete life like for you?
Yeah, I would say it was pretty relaxed there.
Okay.
I was somebody early on that was getting a lot of extra work. Had a good crew there that would go with me.
Mhm.
But I would say those first couple years was just getting out, exploring the city, a lot of good food down
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
So doing that kind of thing. But
So fairly decent work-life balance, let's say.
oh, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it was less than I thought it would be going in there.
Oh.
And a lot of people tell you how much, uh, work goes into
Hmm.
being a Division 1 athlete, and growing up in the Eagle High football schedule, and being surrounded by
Yeah.
highly motivated friends that honestly I had in high school. It wasn't something that I felt was too much for me.
Okay. Cool. So we're playing. We got 2 seasons, correct?
Yeah, so redshirted and then 2 more years,
2 more
played two
years.
seasons. Yeah.
So during that time, playing time, let's talk about that.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the jump. Like
Yeah.
once you get in there, you get rolling, and now you're playing.
Yeah.
What's it like making that transition? It sounds like yours was a little bit, you kind of slid into it because of that COVID year a little,
Yeah.
and then it got acclimated in a different way.
Hmm.
But once you step on that field and against that level,
Yeah.
how how was it?
Yeah. So, kind of like you said, I think I would have been probably like a second line guy if I would have played that first year.
Hmm.
But by the time it was my redshirt freshman year, I was in the first line lineup and I was ready to go. And our first game was against Ohio State, um, in their indoor.
Hmm.
And I was probably the most fired up for a game I've ever been. Um, And it was crazy. I remember just not being able to breathe the whole game. Your
Yeah,
your heart's
just
racing and
tense.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was definitely going 110 miles an hour. But it was a incredible experience. My mom was able to be there, and yeah, it's something I'll never forget.
Okay. And then as that season kept going,
Hmm.
like you start acclimating,
Yeah,
you start relaxing, the game slows down a scope.
yeah.
And then what's it like then for a player at that speed, maybe the how the games ran maybe differently,
Hmm.
expectations,
Yeah, yeah,
tell us a little bit about that.
yeah. I would say the speed thing was a big thing, but that buffer year helped me,
Hmm.
be get into it a little bit. I remember a big thing for me, and this is maybe off topic a bit, was like the length of the passes you had to throw in a college
Okay.
game
No,
versus high school.
that's a great topic.
Yeah.
I'm looking for those
So
details.
yeah, so that was a big thing, and I think early on I had to get used to. I remember going out and just taking a buddy and saying stand way over there and just chucking the ball to him on the
Hmm.
run. So that was a big learning curve for me, was just to be able to throw the ball around the.
And put piss on it, right?
Yeah, yeah, you
There's
gotta
no
throw
lob
hard.
shots. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think I settled in pretty quickly after that first game. I had a good first game against Ohio State.
Hmm.
I was able to score 2 goals in that game, so I think I had a lot of confidence coming away from that game and just settled in, learned, playing with those guys and the environment that it was. But yeah,
So at some point here, we transition out of Cleveland State.
yeah,
So can we talk about a little bit about
yeah,
what brought that change on and
yeah.
maybe what Cleveland what you were missing there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, from that junior year in high school, Mark, when I made, the
Hmm.
decision to do it, I was just set, absolutely set on this goal to, honestly, play in the PLL. And I just wanted it like really bad, to be honest with you. I was putting in a lot of work, and um, my first goal, when I stepped on there was to, be the best in the midfield room. And um, you know, in my sophomore year was to be the best on the team, be the best in the conference. And so I just kind of kept making these incremental goals. And then the end of my sophomore year, I had another pretty good year, but I remember coming away feeling kind of unfulfilled.
Hmm.
And
In which way?
just from the fact that I felt like I put a lot of work in, had a good year, and I felt like the results on the field, didn't show that. And someone from having personal success, but the team doesn't have success, it
Mm,
kind of feels
okay.
weird. It's like you think that you should feel one way, but when your team's not winning, it's hard to.
Okay.
And
That's what I was getting at, I guess.
yeah,
What was the fulfillment? Like
yeah,
you felt like you were doing everything you could,
yeah,
but it still mattered. That
yeah,
W still
yeah. You
mattered
still
to
got
you.
to win the game for any of it to
Hmm.
matter. And
And was that a, I'm sure a lot of guys are working hard,
yeah,
but
yeah,
is there like, it just wasn't some places just sometimes struggle to win.
yeah,
And it could be a culture thing or a historical thing.
yeah,
They just don't know what it takes.
yeah.
I don't know if that's true for Cleveland State.
No, I would say, there was a lot of hardworking kids on
Hmm.
that team and, a leadership group that really wanted it. Um, I think for me personally, knowing that, after those 2 years, there was no older midfielders than me. And in those first 2 years, it felt like there was not really someone I could model my game after and learn.
Hmm.
And it just felt like I was in a room where, when you want to surround yourself with some people that are better than you and to chase, it felt like those people weren't in the room with me anymore.
Okay.
And, to be honest, I just needed to find a new room to continue this journey that I was on. And so that's kind of what wound into that decision to start looking for,
Okay.
yeah, a new place.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's
Yeah.
an interesting point of view that
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like, so what's interesting, like compromise, how did your life change? And it's like you were changing life around you to achieve these goals.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you were not going to compromise or let anything get in your way compared to some guys that had to cut loose, maybe relationships
Yeah.
or I don't know, girlfriends or whatever, or like couldn't go hang out because I need to work out, I need to do my homework, or I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me, right? Like it's those you've seen it, you've been there.
Yeah.
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 And it's kind of interesting to hear how you were just like plowing through and
Yeah.
it's like, hey, the train's going this way if you want to be on.
Yeah.
You can get back here.
I remember, and maybe it's more perspective having it, now and getting older, and there's other things in my life now that are important to me,
Hmm.
but it wasn't really something that was a conscious thought in my head. Like, it wasn't like I was, not going out on the
Hmm.
weekends, like intentionally to go put in work. Like, I remember, that freshman and sophomore year, it was like the work was so important to me that the other things like didn't even have weight,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And, that's I can understand where like even that question comes from. Like now, even when I was like in my senior year and this thing was kind of winding down, how maybe that goal was like not less important, but there's other things that matter in your life. I remember just early on, it was the sole thing that was in my life, and
That's
it
great.
had that much weight for me. So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I love hearing this perspective. And
yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
enjoy talking to folks like yourself because
yeah,
just the people behind these achievements is what I find interesting and like
yeah,
how they were motivated and
yeah.
what what got them there, like what that's the whole story. So, okay, so we choose to leave Cleveland State.
Hmm.
What options were available?
Yeah,
How'd that process look? Transfer portal,
yeah,
that's fairly new. A
yeah,
lot of folks don't know how it works. You're like, I'm bad at it myself, but you can
yeah,
declare and not tell the coach. You can
yeah,
declare, tell the coach,
yeah,
all those options. And they've changed a little bit over the years too. But
yeah.
tell me how that process worked for you.
Yeah. So kind of, my mom's there in Cleveland with me, and we've had a lot of conversations right as the season ended on, what was next, and we came to the conclusion, and my parents were asking the question, what happens if no one reaches out? And I
Hmm.
remember doing all this research on other guys that had done it. I was like, pretty sure I'll get an opportunity. Like this is what they did. I think we like it'll happen, and um, so I did declare, I did tell my coach, I went and had that
Hmm.
conversation, and that was really hard for me because there wasn't any bad blood. I really liked those guys. I was a
Yeah.
captain. My coaching staff was really good to me. So that was a tough conversation, but I went into his office, had that conversation. He was really good to me, said he'd help me out. So then I entered the portal. Coach Myers at Ohio State had emailed me 3 minutes later, and they were not on my list.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about your list.
yeah, so had a list. It was essentially just every Big Ten and every ACC school. I had a mentor who actually was old head coach at Cleveland State,
Mhm.
Dylan Sheridan. I had lunch with him, and he's one of the most well-connected coaches in the space. So he had, put some feelers out there, and that made me confident going into it. Um, and then, yeah, what really came to fruition over the next week was like a top four of Denver, Ohio State, Penn State, and Syracuse.
That's a pretty solid top four, bud.
Yeah, so that was kind of the list. And so I went to Ohio State with my dad, and it was an incredible visit.
Hmm.
And then went out to Denver. And then I remember sitting watching the games and just kind of talking with Syracuse, talking with Penn State. And then Penn State had won in the NCAA playoffs, and that had basically pushed my visit out another week and a half.
Mm.
And uh, while I was in the portal, it was probably the most stressful time of my life, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was not something that was like exciting to me. It was, like getting hounded by all these people, and you kind of feel like, coming from Boise and
Hmm.
wanting this your whole life, you don't take like a Ohio State talking to you and having interest lightly. You feel like you
Nope.
owe them
Yeah,
something.
absolutely.
So it was really stressful, and I had the conversations with my parents where Penn State was farther, harder for them to get to, and it was going to push this whole process out.
Yeah.
And the conversations, with Syracuse were at a place where maybe less desired than Ohio State.
Mhm.
So pretty much after that game, about half week through, we just made the decision to, roll with Ohio State,
Okay.
and
What was,
and that's how we did
if you
it.
don't mind me asking, the criteria for those schools? Was it purely field competitiveness, or was there something else at those universities that were in your top four
Yeah.
that
S-
also kind of helped score that?
Yeah, definitely the lacrosse piece.
Hmm.
Kind of going back to what I said earlier in terms of not having somebody in the room that I could model my way after, I
Yep.
thought development was a huge piece that I talked to all those coaches about.
Yep.
Like, I want to get better, have this, desire to play in the league. How can we do that? So that was a big thing. And then just coming from Cleveland State, I wanted to go to a big school.
Hmm.
So that's kind of where Denver got pushed out a little bit because it felt similar to Cleveland State in a smaller campus.
Hmm.
And I just wanted to like go feel like I was like really at college.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are
Yeah.
the two big things for me.
Great. No,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're moving to, let's talk about that transition now
Yeah.
to Ohio State from Cleveland State. You're at that bigger school, bigger campus, like traditional old college campus, right?
Yeah.
Like it's dialed in.
Hmm.
Let's talk about walking in. You're a new
Yeah.
student there. You got expectations, and here you are. You're at one of the
Yeah.
top schools in the country.
Yeah. So it was incredible. Also, right after I committed, I didn't wait that summer um, to get there on campus,
Hmm.
in August and everyone. One of the deals that he made and was honestly pro for me was that, if you commit here, you're coming the first week of June and you're going to train with us all summer. And, having that kinesiology background and
Hmm.
that passion for sports performance, that was a big thing for me because it was all, with our head strength coach. And so I was there in June, got to know a lot of the upperclassmen. By the time August came, I felt like I was, already one of the vets. Really cool. And then that first month, of actual school was like incredible. From the off the field
Sure.
standpoint, going to the football games and having, get-togethers with other teams and events on the weekends, like that wasn't really something we had in Cleveland.
Hmm.
So that first fall was just like incredible and
Yeah.
kind of opened my eyes to like a whole different experience that you could have in college.
Did you feel like the experience was more complete then? Like, oh,
Yeah,
you didn't know what you were missing, and so like
yeah,
you found this new, like
yeah,
the stuff you were missing, I guess, in life.
most definitely. Yeah, when I
Okay.
said that about, Cleveland State, like didn't realize how bad that first year was. It
Hmm.
was if it was the other way around where it was Ohio State to Cleveland State, it would
Right.
have been, a completely different experience. But yeah, I mean, just the amount of people that you get to meet, the bond that that
Yeah.
team had.
Remind me of the numbers there. 35,000, forty
I think
thousand students.
I think with graduate school it's like 60,000,
It's
but I might need to be fact checked on
okay, you're fine. We won't fact check it. We'll make it up.
that.
We'll make it up. It's our show. We can say whatever we want.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And then classroom, like
Yeah,
that, those expectations there at Ohio State, are they
yeah.
different? Is it, do you feel like you get more being there? Like the whole experience, like the teachers are better, the classrooms, students are more involved, they're less on their phone, or is some of that stuff the same no matter where you go?
Yeah, I think for me, being in like a smaller kind of niche major,
Hmm.
it was a pretty similar experience
Okay,
academically.
that makes sense.
Yeah, there was definitely more people at Ohio State in my classes, but it was the same feel where it was like similar faces in every class and smaller numbers. I didn't have a class in my whole college career that was probably over 35 people.
Okay,
So it was a pretty similar experience, and I honestly had really good relationships with my professors at both schools.
that's great.
So I felt like it was pretty
You
similar,
take
and
ownership of that education, like
yeah,
I'm paying to be here for the most
yeah,
part, right?
yeah,
So you owe me an education.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely, and the passion was always there.
Hmm.
So yeah, that
Awesome.
kind of came easy.
What about food?
That was that was the biggest difference for sure. Um, I did not go to the grocery store in 2 years at Ohio State.
Okay.
We had a athlete cafeteria, so I'd eat there 2 or 3 times a day. That was right next to our locker room. And then we also had, through NIL, we had the Chipotle card, so we could get,
Okay.
Chipotle once a week, and yeah, we were pretty blessed on food
Do
there.
you have that magical shake machine for after workout?
Oh yeah,
It's
we
like,
did.
and then each person has like their special blend of shake,
We didn't.
depending on what
Yeah.
their goals are.
We didn't have no, it wasn't
Okay.
that. It wasn't
Okay.
that professional, but yeah, we had the shake
Maybe the
machine.
football guys have those.
Yeah, yeah, they
Okay.
had the whole other side of the facility with all the custom shakes for sure.
So the shake machine, right? You're just like,
Yeah,
"Hey, we gotta choke these down."
yeah. No, I put on I was probably 178 when I left Cleveland State, and then that junior year I played at 196.
How was that? Was that like a good weight?
Um, no, I didn't like it. I felt like I was a little bit slower and it was kind of unnecessary. I'm not a super physical player.
Okay.
I like I'm mostly a speed dodger.
Hmm.
So, I was just strict to like what they were telling me. Lifting hard and not like eating any crazier than I would have,
Yeah.
but just, when you
Eating
lift that
different.
hard,
Yeah.
yeah, when you lift that hard and you're supplied with that much, nutrition,
Hmm.
it's honestly not that hard to gain weight. So then my senior year, I dropped back down to 185, and that was more of a conscious decision, and that's what I like playing at. So
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. So resources. Let's
hmm,
talk about their coaches and like your achievement and
yeah,
expectations that you had for yourself.
yeah,
It sounds like it was there, right?
yeah,
Everything you were looking for. And then those relationships with those guys.
hmm.
uh, You know, call them today if you needed anything.
Oh
Like, what's that like?
yeah, that was just a huge difference. And we're almost like, or maybe this is the wrong word, but like trauma bonded. Like
Hmm.
we went through a lot. My junior year, we greatly, you know, did not even live up to the expectations. Like we were supposed to be really good that year, had a great team, and we sucked. And that was a really hard year. Um, and so that group of guys, I mean, it was not 2 weeks to me being in there in my junior summer that I felt like completely at home. So yeah, that we are very connected. Those are my best friends in the world. I'm
Yeah,
just, I turned my phone off right before this because one of them's texting me,
sure.
and last night, on the phone for an hour with,
Hmm.
our senior captain, and we played on the chaos together. So yeah, just extremely connected, and um,
I think trauma bonding is the right
yeah,
term.
it feels like the right term.
We had Nick on last night,
Yeah,
and Nick Ocello, and he was like 95% of the time it could totally suck,
yeah,
and then like 5%, it's a spectacular. but his best memories are during the sucky period
Yeah.
with the guys and
Yeah.
like sharing that experience and like going through the suck together or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of funny to think about that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, those bonds are real,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, it
No one else
puts,
understands it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You guys have gone through something that, not very many people have, and it's just kind of incredible,
Hmm.
like what it does to your relationships, and there's not really anything you could say to one of those guys that would ever like come between us because those things have one probably already been said, or
Yeah, right, right.
it's just
Yeah.
it's so deep that it's just,
Mhm.
yeah, it's incredible.
That's amazing. And then still being an Idaho kid,
Yeah.
did you ever like was there always that whatever Idaho dude? Like, do you feel like you constantly had to prove yourself, or at some point that just disappeared?
Yeah, I mean, from a on the field standpoint, that chip was always there.
Hmm.
Uh, that was something I told myself before every game,
Yeah.
Um, but in terms of like my respect for Idaho, I probably annoyed the hell out of everyone how much I talked about it.
I think
Um,
it's something you have to do.
yeah, I constantly get chirped about it,
Yeah.
still to this day. Like they're texting me, "How's Idaho?" It probably sucks.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I just said like, never come.
Yeah.
Don't need
You're
to
not
know.
allowed to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I've always repped where I'm from, and I
Hmm.
love it here. There's a reason I'm back. So,
Yeah. Any buddies from the team, right, throughout college make it out here yet? To
no,
visit?
no, nobody's been out here. There's a
Terrified they might like it. That's why.
Yeah, well, everyone's gotten into their jobs and trying to get
Hmm.
settled, but there's talks for a little reunion out here this winter. They think
Okay.
they can come out to the mountain, and
Oh.
some of them have been skiing in Maine or
Oh,
whatever, and
wow.
they think they can, come out here. So
700 feet of vertical for the
yeah,
whole state.
exactly. Yeah, so it might turn into just a hang
All
out at
right.
the resort lodge
Awesome.
type day, but
What's your favorite ski hill?
I'm going to Tamarack,
Okay.
my whole life. So.
All right. It's not a bogus guy. I'm keeping it
I'll
real here
go
in town.
no, I'll go up to Bogus too in the weekdays, but
Yeah. Easy, buddy.
the weekends for Tamarack for sure.
Awesome. Well, good. That's exciting.
Hmm.
So let's talk about PLL.
Okay.
You tell me.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
How would it like you declare, right? You graduate first of all. Did you get your kinesiology degree?
Yeah, so that was my technically my junior year, and then I did the Masters of Sports Management my
Nice.
senior year.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, kind of rolling into that, you don't really have to. I don't think you have to declare. I think if
Okay.
you're eligible, you
Yeah.
can be picked, and
You
then
can.
you can determine whether or not you want to go or not.
Okay.
We had a draft watch party. It was not for
Mhm.
me. It was for Marnie, and I guess whoever else could potentially get picked. And we didn't have a single guy get picked on our roster. And at that
Mhm.
time, we were the second ranked team in the country. So that was,
Yeah.
definitely fueled us a bit there.
I bet.
Um, and then, yeah, I was kind of like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. I hadn't really talked to any coaches. I've heard some things from our staff
Hmm.
about some potential opportunities, and then we came in from a practice. It's probably one of my worst practices of the year. I absolutely sucked. Turned the ball over probably like 5 or 6 times. We had lift after practice,
Hmm.
and my coach came in and told me that the chaos had just signed me for training camp. And I remember like he's like, "Don't worry, I did not tell them about today at
Oh,
all."
that's perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
so
game tape for today, no practice
yeah,
tape.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like mixed emotions there a little bit, but then I was
Okay.
like, okay, I guess this thing's over. We're gonna give that a run.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah,
Just that whole situation that,
yeah,
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 like all of a sudden you get the call
yeah,
and you're moving on.
yeah.
Yeah. So we show up, PLL,
Mhm.
training day,
Yeah,
tryouts. I don't know what they call it.
yeah,
I'm ignorant to this.
yeah,
Help me out.
yeah. So it's every team in the PLL is there. It's on the campus of Albany
Mhm.
in New York. Um,
How was that campus?
it's a pretty nice campus. Yeah, it's got some like nice nature and lakes that you had to walk through. So it was pretty cool.
Okay.
Not like a surrounding city, or
Mhm.
we didn't get to explore it much, but
Okay.
yeah, it was a solid campus, and obviously watched
Sure.
a lot of games on that growing up. So it was
Hmm.
cool to be there. But yeah, so you show up, every team's there, rooming with some guys you don't know, but you
Hmm.
maybe heard about play. It was all rookies in my room, and um, going to the cafeteria. Every team shares it, so that was kind of like a fever dream with all
Hmm.
those guys. And
Yeah, you're just like walking around Hall of Fame.
sit having lunch with Tom Schreiber and shaking Rabel's hand for the first time. It was like, what is going on here? But really
Oh,
cool for sure.
yeah.
And then you just hop right into it, and then it's 2 days for the first 2 days. And I was kind of in this role where hadn't played defense my whole career, and with the fast-paced nature of the game, it was like, we want you to be a hybrid guy. So I was taking mixed reps, offense, some
Hmm.
like D midi reps, and I was all about it. That's something I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited for it, and I honestly played really good that first day. Was really confident going in the second day, and then that morning practice the second day. I played offense and was had one of my best days of practice, even including like at Ohio State that
Yeah.
year. So I was like, let's go into the second day. Now I was playing D midi,
Yeah.
and just went for like an over the head check that I don't know how to do, and landed directly on my shoulder and tore my like AC joint.
Okay.
Um, so then I was out for the rest of training camp, and pretty much like texting my parents, my collarbone
Yeah.
sticking up out of my shoulder. I was like, it was a good run, not gonna be able to prove
Hmm.
myself. And then that Tuesday came where they make the cuts, and how they make the cuts is if you get a call, then you're getting cut. If you don't get a call, you have practice.
Okay. No news is good news.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there in the auditorium, like ready on my phone. I was like, I literally already made plans with some buddies back here that I was going to see
Hmm.
him. I hadn't been home yet. Um,
You're
Sat
sitting there,
there.
what, your arm on the sling?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
arm,
Collarbone for
arm
the
in the
most part,
sling,
been kind of set.
yeah, some ice on it, just waiting on the
Hmm.
phone, and then it was like 30 minutes till practice. Still hadn't get anything, and I was like, okay, guess I got to go to the locker room and see what's going on, and then sitting there in the locker room, and some guy came in, took his stuff out. So then I walked out of the locker room. There's no service in there,
Okay.
so I couldn't get a text.
Oh,
So I left to go get service, and then I did. Still no text, and then went back in, and all the staff walked in, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, did they forget to text me? And then that's pretty much how I found out I made the team. And I was like, I thought they forgot to text me, but
okay.
yeah. And then I talked to the GM, and he was like, we're committed to still giving you a chance here, and there were some other injuries to the team, so yeah,
Just happens.
yeah, just happened.
Just happens. So
Exactly. Yeah,
what a crazy bonker story. Like this is an emotional roller coaster for like 4 days.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then kind of moving forward, my first game was only came home for a week.
Hmm.
They played a game, or we played a game at training camp. Then we had our bye. So it was 2 weeks, and then we played our home game where we had back-to-back games. And so I was doing rehab here, going hard and just communicating to the AT there. And so then I got put on the roster to go to Carolina, and the day before I left was the first day I was able to actually throw the ball with my stick. So I went to Carolina basically having no reps for 3 weeks because I missed that last week of training
Yeah.
camp.
Did you notice it when you got there?
Um, no, I was so juiced up on adrenaline when I got
Okay.
there. I was like, I was fine to play through it.
Hmm.
Um, but the big change was, I was in that hybrid D MIDI,
Hmm.
supposed to be like more of a D MIDI and push transition role.
Yep.
And then the way that the roster worked out, I was in the lineup to play offense.
Oh,
So I didn't really know the offense.
yeah.
And,
How thick is this playbook that you're supposed to
it's not.
learn? Okay.
It's not thick.
Okay.
It's like two sets, but the biggest thing is just chemistry.
Sure.
Which in the PLL, to be honest with you, I was not really
Hmm.
in my own lane. Like nobody has chemistry at that point.
Yeah.
It's a whole group of guys, and they've been playing for really only 3 more days than me, so
Hmm.
nobody has it. So I didn't feel like I was super underprepared. I felt like everyone kind of felt in
Yeah.
the same boat. But yeah, just went out there, and Posey told me to just play the game that you know how to play, and so we just ran around and let it progress.
Just like that, man. Next thing you know, you're a pro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
What so the funnel's getting tighter as we work our way up here from high school, Cleveland State, Ohio State, the competition, right? Now we're at the known peak.
Hmm.
What was that like? That jump, was it that big, or like Ohio State set you up and people you play
Yeah.
set you up for success at that level,
Yeah.
or was there still a lift? Like, oh, these dudes are fast and their bag is deep.
Yeah. I would say both are true. I think I was in a position to be successful there,
Hmm.
and I was from Ohio State, and the way that we were coached, and the discipline that had been instilled in us. But like anything, you only
Hmm.
adjust once you're fully in there.
Right.
And to only have played one game, that's not.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. Like I had, a couple turnovers and, those skip passes that you could get through in college, like
Yeah.
that window's now
Yeah.
2 inches smaller,
Hmm.
right? And they can get to that. So those little things, and then, the biggest difference at I think every level you climb is the goalie play.
Yeah.
When you only have
That's funny.
eight goalies,
Hmm.
the top eight goalies, that's a big difference versus,
Yeah.
in even the Division 1 level where they're more spread out to like
Hmm.
whatever it is, 70 something schools.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the goalie play is
It's
incredible.
lights out.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more about this D mid because I feel like the D mid is like the greatest position
Yeah.
in lacrosse.
Yeah.
Like just this different type of animal,
Yeah.
right? Like a incredible deep mid.
Yeah.
Like you got it, whatever it takes to keep that guy around.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. It's the glue guy
Yeah.
spot on the team.
Hmm.
It's the gritty guy that's,
Hmm.
getting it done. And I think why it was exciting for me is because it was like a spot where I could just be athletic.
Yeah.
And we come back to the kinesiology thing and how passionate I was about that. It was like, okay, great. Now I just can just go play,
Go play.
react. And so that's what I was really excited about. And it's tough. It is. I think it's the hardest spot, maybe except for goalie.
Yep.
But at that level, D mids aren't even really supposed to be able to stop their guy. They're just supposed to be able to narrow the gap on
Right.
how much they get beat.
Yep.
But yeah, I was definitely excited to do it, and I really only got to do it for a couple of days,
Sure.
but I think it was something that excites me, and I think that people should, kids in the valley, if that's like a spot you're slotted at, like buy into it because
Hmm.
not only are those like some of the most well-respected guys on the team, but it's also like a very fulfilling role to play on the team.
I agree, and it's funny because it seems like a punishment
Yeah,
to some players, right? Like,
yeah,
what do you mean D mid?
yeah,
Like I'm gonna get burned the whole time, and
yeah,
then like I don't get the push transition. Like I just run in here, get beat, and then run out.
yeah,
But no, it's like no, if you own that position,
yeah,
you can create offense and cause turnovers and
yeah,
like be a difference maker
yeah,
for sure, man. Like, and if like that's your opportunity, own the opportunity.
yeah. And at Ohio State, it was not like that. Like our dog pound, that's what they called them. That was like the most well-respected group there.
Yeah.
Every year at Ohio State, probably our top two middies get All-America honors.
Mhm.
And so that group was something, and that was a switch that was, when I went to Ohio State, I was like, oh, this is how, a winning program operates. Like that group is held to the highest standard, and they really lead the way. So to be able to, have a shot to do that in the
Mhm.
PLL was something that I didn't take lightly, coming from a place like that.
Let's talk about playing at the college level and just the endless shit talking
Oh yeah,
from like the benches, right?
yeah,
Like world class.
yeah,
Uh, how was that?
yeah. I
Like,
mean,
I mean, we're talking serious, John.
oh yeah, yeah,
Which team was like absolutely like these guys are so good at it. It's hilarious.
yeah, yeah,
And then like was there one that like, ooh, they got me,
yeah,
Like and it's like if I get a chance,
yeah.
these guys are just eating at my soul here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say, the proportion of Canadians to Americans on a roster definitely plays
Okay,
a
fair.
factor into that. So we had a lot of good, Canadian shit
Uh-huh.
talkers on our squad. So we weren't bad. But definitely the teams, that we went the hardest with in
Hmm.
that area was like Maryland and Notre Dame.
Okay.
There's a pretty deep rooted rivalry between both teams. I'm sure
Okay.
Nick would say otherwise, but
Uh-huh.
um, yeah. Then the time that is most memorable for me, and I probably shouldn't give them their clout, but my junior year came across the middle, got lit up.
Mhm.
against Denver, and then there was a couple chirps, pick the wrong school,
Okay.
those as they're running down the other side of the field. So
Sure.
that was a good one. Respects to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Traveling experience like this, the one thing that's not maybe talked about a lot, but like you get to see all kinds of parts of the
Yeah.
country, right? And explore things and
Yeah.
campuses and whatnot. Any of those memories stick out to you?
Yeah, most definitely. I think every weekend, especially this last year when we were actually winning at them,
Hmm.
we were undefeated on the road. So every experience was super special. But the one that holds the highest was that Johns Hopkins win we had this year
Hmm.
going into Homewood. Joel Tinney was a guy I watched really heavily when I was growing up, and watched him play on that field all the time. So that was a really special one for me. And we kind of had this thing, where we'd post up after the game, like on their
Hmm.
stadium, and find their
Oh,
logo and
okay.
throw that on
Yeah,
social
of
media.
course.
So that was something really special, just being there and getting a win on that field.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was a pretty incredible year.
I think it's great is that like you respect those traditions and like
Yeah,
the history that comes with those stadiums. I think there is a romance to it, right? Like
yeah,
and like being there and being part of that.
yeah,
And yeah, that's great. You appreciate that. Some of those
definitely.
moments get lost kind
Yeah,
of along the way.
yeah. And there's the perspective of how you've seen it for so long
But, hmm.
versus when you pull up to the stadium for the first time and how much different it looks than what you thought it was. And that
Yeah,
was always walking up, getting off the bus in your suit and walking up, and that was like something I felt like at every different venue. Like it's different than what you thought, and that was always a special moment to me because
mhm.
it meant that I was there.
Right.
So that was a cool thing for me.
S- You know, walk out. Let's talk game time ritual for you. Locking
Hmm.
in, whatever that looks like. I've been trying to keep this theme of like superstitions or rituals
Yeah,
for game day. But, you know, whether it was maybe the difference between Cleveland State and Ohio State, like going out, walking out, whether it's
yeah,
a tunnel, you know, and then maybe that time just before. Like, what do you do to get ready to play?
yeah. Um, so I almost have like a reverse superstition where the thought in my mind to get me ready for the game is there's nothing that like anyone could do to me right now or say to me right now that would change the way that I'm gonna play. I know that I'm prepared. I know I have what it takes. So I had no superstitions at all. I would actually
Mhm.
like intentionally change what I did for
Okay.
that thought process. Listen to different music, put my shoes on however I
Hmm.
wanted, change the order of stuff,
Okay.
which is very different from most people. But that was kind of that thought process
Yeah.
behind it.
It's a ritual. Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would switch up the music, but kind of tying back to like playing in a band, like my favorite band is Paramore. So I'd always
Nice.
rip them right before I go out, and that was also a block when I played. Is I would sing a song while I was playing. So like when I'm dodging, running around,
Hmm.
it's either in my head or sometimes like out loud, singing a song just to shut the mind down a little bit, and that
Yeah.
would always help me get into flow state. So making sure I had a song stuck in my head to sing for
Yeah.
the next 2 hours.
Do you have a go-to? Do you want to share your go-to?
In terms of the song,
The head song, maybe.
um, it's this Kodak song. I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't even know what it's called, but it's like, uh,
You don't have to sing it.
yeah, I
Okay.
probably
We'll
shouldn't
be all
sing
right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's funny. And then, what was just because it's fun? Because I like music. I like a diverse set of music. Everything from
Hmm.
something in the '50s to
Yeah.
techno to metal. Paramore myself.
Yeah.
Uh, what's another one? Let's do a little music chat.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bristol Maroney, big one for me, a little
Okay.
indie rock.
Hmm.
Oldies favorite band is Counting Crows.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
Hmm.
And then I've been big on a band called RC Drive.
Okay.
They're like another indie rock band, but
What kind of sound? What are we talking indie here?
um, maybe like a little folk flair to them.
Okay.
Got some rocky stuff as well.
Hmm.
Just kind of all over the place, alternative stuff. I like
Okay.
a band, with the can switch it up
Yeah.
so on the album. So
Yeah.
that's always been something big in my family. Dad's a big music head, so Sister's got great taste, and so it's
All
always
right.
been a big thing for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a female pop singer addiction for
Okay.
music. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like I grew up Madonna,
Really.
Janet Jackson. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know I'm old, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying it started early
Yeah.
and all the way up into today.
So who's the go-to right now?
I don't mind Lil Lizzo. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Get a little pumped up with that.
Okay.
It's a thick 30.
Yeah.
But I've been who have I been listening to lately that I've been listening to that what's her name? That Dean gal, Olivia
Oh,
Dean.
Olivia Dean.
She's
Yeah.
not necessarily a pop singer, but
Not she's incredible though. Yeah.
yeah, pretty solid. And then who doesn't like a little Sabrina Carpenter once in a while?
Hang on. Have you heard Sienna Spyro?
No, but I'll look it up immediately.
Check her out.
Okay.
She can rip.
So, and then what's her name from Paramore? She does a few covers.
Haley.
Yes.
Haley Williams,
And
yeah.
then I like her covers that she does
Yeah.
of different bands. So I think they did a Talking Heads cover
Yep.
that's super solid.
She just dropped a solo project.
Hmm.
Um, that album's incredible too.
Yep. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
So I've been interested in covers of like older songs or
Yeah. Yeah.
re-envisioned
Yeah.
too along the way. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool. So some more fun ones. You got your ritual pregame hype song, best teammate story that's appropriate for this situation.
Yeah. There's a lot of ones that don't qualify for sure.
Uh-huh.
I think the one that comes to my head was we were playing the Team Up North game, and um, one of my best friends, Alex Marinier, number 5, is our big sharpshooter. We were all having a rough game, and there's a point where there was a timeout called, and he was so down, as the rest of us were. And then the end of that game was pretty magical. And there's a clip of when we scored the goal to go up one, head shot it low to low, goes in, and you can see it on the TV. Marnie just like drops to his knees and like is looking up at the sky. And we watched that back like 10 times after that game. Just like when we were watching in the film, Coach Myers did it, and
That's
everyone, it
awesome.
was hilarious. So that was a good moment.
Let's talk about that rivalry with the one up north. How real is it?
It's incredibly real. Like you did not want to get caught saying that name
Okay.
anywhere in the facility.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
so
like it's fighting words even
oh
on the
yeah,
home field of sorts.
yeah, absolutely. And
Hmm.
and there was some real bad blood, in our senior year where
Hmm.
the year before, not only did they come in beat us to go to the playoffs, then we played them the first year or the first round in the Big Ten playoffs. They
Right.
beat us again. And then we hosted and they won it on our field. So
Okay.
there was a lot of emotions, and Coach Myers was you could visibly feel it the whole
Okay.
year.
Are we talking like in that area at that time? We happen to be on vacation,
Hmm.
neutral territory, and a Michigan guy walks in,
Hmm.
the unnamed,
Yeah,
and like we're at the bar,
yeah.
and like we're throwing hands. I mean, could he get that close that quick?
I For me, no,
Okay.
I'm not a super wound up guy.
Uh-huh.
I think
I'm
if
just wondering how like
yeah, if that was the setting, like there's definitely some feeler chirps going around for sure, and like based on how
yeah.
they're handling it, I
Okay.
guess it could get escalated,
Firing a
but
couple across the bow, see
yeah,
what's up, just
but
in
no,
case.
we
Okay.
we definitely have some ammo ready to go.
Okay.
Now we do.
Sure.
Luckily, we earned it, but
Hmm.
yeah,
I'm just wondering.
yeah.
I mean, that's whatever, dude. I've seen it. So,
I guess that's a hypothetical that we probably just don't want to
all
bring up.
right, fair enough. Um, so we're back home now, right?
Hmm.
Staying in shape,
Yeah,
keeping our options open.
yeah,
What are we doing in the meantime while our options are open?
yeah. So yeah, still training off the field,
Hmm.
and staying ready there, and um, I think just the way that I trained growing up, like that's super important to me, just to have energy throughout the day and
Yeah,
just feel like I got something done. Just figuring it all out now.
yeah.
Starting work and being in Boise, kind of rekindling with a lot of my best friends from growing up, and um, yeah, just taking the next
Decompressing,
step.
right? It's a
Most
lot, man.
definitely, yeah,
This has
it was
been what, 6 years? 5 years, 6 years ish.
Yeah,
That's a lot, man.
yeah,
That's a lot of life in those years.
it was. Yeah. I grew a lot, as a person, and
Hmm.
um, being that deep into just one certain thing for 5 years is a
Yeah.
lot for sure. And so I took a good few months,
Hmm.
in the summer to just relax and get away from those pressures. But there's definitely the reason, I was able to do that. There's definitely a drive,
Hmm.
in me down there somewhere. So, starting to get my energy back and look at, how I move forward now.
Okay.
Hmm.
With all that experience, couple tips. Guys are going to be watching. Young guys are going to be watching.
Yeah,
Like you're the example now,
yeah,
which I don't know if like if you've thought about that, but now you've the path has been laid down by yourself, which is amazing. An Idaho kid can do this, right? And you should be celebrated for those efforts. And so, any tips, to those younger guys, like, hey, dude, it's going to be harder than you think. Get off your ass,
yeah,
commit. Or when it does get hard, how to like tips to help,
yeah,
compartmentalize that and
yeah, yeah.
refocus.
Uh, yeah, definitely both. I think when for me, and I think we touched on it a little bit earlier,
Hmm.
but like when you really want it, it's so obvious to you because
Hmm.
everything else feels so little. So, if you're someone who has to constantly be motivated by like your parents or, yourself, and, it's not something that you're easily able to do, then like just don't worry about it. It might not like be for you. But if you're somebody who, is really into this thing and it's just that important to you, then, find a way. Like there isn't, there may be like a path laid, but I think that everyone goes about it differently. Every journey is going to be unique. So don't think you need to,
Do it Gannon's way.
yeah, or
Right.
or any other person's way, right? Just, put in the time, put in the reps. That's really truly what matters, right? Like if you're really that good, like it will work out for you. I didn't take the traditional route. Um,
Yeah.
and that's probably, a lot of kids from here for the next few years, it's probably what's going to happen with them as well. We're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna have to fight and earn our respect. But that's also a superpower if you use it correctly.
Mhm.
To your second question, and it does get a little bit harder than you think, and you need ways to decompress, and that's where I think, I had it in my time in Ohio State was, a bit of like a athlete identity crisis that I think
Yeah.
everyone has, and
Hmm.
just leaning into your support system.
Yeah.
I was always on the phone with my parents, and then also just understanding and really taking time for yourself to understand that that's not, you devote a lot of your life to this, but that's not who you are, and it doesn't
Hmm.
define you. Find your escape, and for me, that was guitar, right? Like
Yeah.
I'd come home, and that was my time. Take 2 hours and get my head out of it. And I think my teammates that were really successful, they had something like that as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I I appreciate you sharing that.
yeah, yeah,
You got a favorite guitar?
yeah. I got a baby blue Fender Strat.
Oh.
That's the baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about amp? What are you running?
No, I don't have any good amps since I've been in college for 5 years. So I have like a Yamaha THR desk amp,
Okay.
and I love that one. It
Sure.
rips, but
Right.
it's not a real two-man
It's not
amp.
enough records.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's down the line. I gotta get some money
Yeah.
first.
Okay. Um, so while you're in town, staying in shape, you getting any reps with anybody?
Some younger guys.
Okay.
I'm training. I got a little bit of passion for that, and
Okay.
I want to give back. Um, so I've been training with some guys and a couple D guys. I'll suit up,
Mhm.
and run with them. Um, but that's where we've been so far, and
Okay.
it's been good to run around.
Yeah. A little bit short term goals, maybe like transition life or like just resetting.
Mhm.
You said see your friends, but like maybe some jobs or careers that maybe you'd hint at to. I mean, the
Yeah,
PLL pays,
yeah,
but it ain't gonna pay that good,
yeah,
right? So you're
yeah.
still gonna need to get a career path. You're gonna keep chasing this kinesiology.
Yeah, I think there's there's some sort of intersection of it
Mhm.
down the line. I don't think I'm going to go the typical strength coach route.
Okay.
Working at Boise State in the NIL space right now, and learning a lot, in the business world, and
Hmm.
really just taking the next, year or two to kind of learn and see how things work on this side. And
Okay.
I got a lot of other passions, as we kind of mentioned,
Yeah.
and I think I'll try and find something that is at the intersection of all of them.
Sure.
But yeah, just taking a year or two to learn and
Hmm.
absorb, what's
Yeah.
out there and kind of figure it out.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else you want to say while you got a chance?
Mhm. Uh, you know, um, just to anyone out there that is
Mhm. Let me pull that camera up for you.
yeah, yeah.
There you go. You can talk
Oh, there
right
we
to.
go. Yeah, to anyone out there, that's has a burning desire to do this thing, I think, it's important to know that there is the resources here to get
Sure.
it done. And utilizing, this place and the people here and the trip that it brings, it's possible. And there's a lot of good people around here and connections in the lacrosse space, all over the country. It's changed my life in more ways, than one. Even in my career now, lacrosse has been a huge connector for me.
Yeah.
So just understanding, I know sometimes it's hard to see, when you're a high school kid to see the bigger picture. But yeah, I have absolutely no regrets in the amount of time I spent doing it and things I had to give up to do it. So if it's something that you feel, your heart is calling you to do, then go all in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's end on that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you
Appreciate your
so
time.
much. Yeah, I appreciate you.